24 hours.
Who?
Tina Donovan.
Oh, what the hell did Donovan do?
Well, so let's start with the. Okay, let's start with the big boys, and then
All right.
our processing is utter and complete dog shit. And I don't think look, I wasn't here back in the day, right? But I think we ended up with a lot of tools. How do I put this? I think a lot of arrests back in the last police department were based on you didn't have to really do much. And people may have gone to court and you just kind of talked to it. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas I think some of the criminal elements may expect significantly more. We've gotten new tools, but a lot of people don't necessarily know how that works. So I'm going to give you an example, right? Chain of custody. It was a foreign concept for quite a few officers that you can't just throw a bunch of evidence into a locker and then say, yeah, that guy had that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
So, I assigned Black the task to collect all the corporals and put together a processing document. Doesn't matter how long it is. It is then to be reviewed. They are to understand it, and they are to push that down. The second issue is that people are going to scenes and then literally fucking off, resulting in one or two officers processing X number of suspects, some of which they don't even know what the fuck they did. So I nearly blew a gasket Friday over something along those lines in relation to a terrorism case where someone decided to blow up a fucking tanker in front of Mission Row PD, and then other than myself, Narumi, and Alana, every other fucking officer was such a goddamn fucking pussy cider. They didn't want to get in front of the vehicle and open fire. To the extent that I had some officers, oh yeah, now I'm starting to remember and my fucking energy's kicking up, had the audacity to tell me that they have never gotten in front of a car and opened fire before. They normally shoot from their cars, which then pissed me off even further because when I talked to the commissioner, he said that they're talking out of their ass. So, which tells me that some of these dumb fucking cunts think that it is okay to gaslight the fucking chief. Well, guess what? They're on my goddamn list. And over the next course of 2 days, I realized that was a common occurrence, because specifically around a handful of officers that want to take advantage of someone like myself, because maybe for far too long they've been used to going to mommy and then daddy and making up bullshit so they don't get in trouble and don't have to change their ways. Well, no fucking longer. Because
do me a favor, Chief, take a cop drop real quick.
Yeah. How do I do that?
Sorry to just off and on. I'll do it as well. Vocal cords, just
turn it all
off and on.
Yeah. You heard all that though, right?
Yep.
All right. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on, and I've thrown away the whole like I don't give a fuck how you used to do shit. It's different now, and it's fundamentally different now anyways. Processing. Next up, Friday, I'm patrolling, and I witnessed multiple AK-47s and armored vehicles attached with a machine gun. I call in backup units. We surround the pink cage, which people are calling the K-Town, which I don't know why they call it K-Town. No one's actually told me. Hopefully it didn't come from like the streets type shit, you know what I'm saying? But whatever.
From what I understand, I went for an interview and Mr. Kaboon owns it, so he might be naming it after himself.
Yeah, but look, past police departments, I get PTSD, so I want to know where shit is labeled, right?
100%.
And so, anyways, we surround that thing, we get photos, etc. I call Donovan on the case. I leave some officers behind to document, talk to the members of K-Town, make sure that they're not hurt or whatever, and I lead up a unit to chase them here to Sandy Shores, at which point they escape. Decision is made to seal the document with all the photos, etc., and we're not fucking with that shit because, quite frankly, we can barely handle 6 criminals, let alone like 8-10 people with AK-47s.
Yep.
Commissioner and I agree that we're not going to kick the hornet's nest. Fast forward. Yesterday comes by and I get Tina tells me she thinks she knows who one of the people in the photograph is. She tells me that it's her ex-boyfriend, ex-chief, or ex-commissioner or some shit like that. And yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. And then she goes on and tells me that this guy named Pedro, who's a manager over at K-Town, wants to talk to her and her specifically because she's the only one she trusts about this matter. And she wants to confirm whether or not it's her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or some shit like that. Well, it turns into Tina is just talking out of her fucking ass, which, once again, at the time, I'm trying to be, you know, what's the word, charitable? So she's convincing me she's got to talk to Pedro. And I'm like, how do you know him? I just met this guy. She wants me to go. She says she needs to go off duty and meet him because he's got information we need. And like end of the world type shit. And I'm telling her, Tina, you're going to a setup. Like you just met this guy and he only trusts you. Like what are you saying? And secondly, what the fuck is it that he's going to tell you? This a manager that is so absolutely important that you're willing to put your life on the line and his. She keeps asking and asking and asking. Charitability kicks in. I'm like, all right, fine, go with Black. And 2 other units. You're not going to do it off duty. They go. Pedro apparently texts the wrong person, probably one of the individuals that is involved. I make it very clear that she's probably going to get scooped up and spoken to by these armed individuals. Well, lo and behold, Pedro texts the wrong person. Cover gets blown. Pedro gets shot somewhere on the beach somewhere. And now he's in ICU talking to her again. And she's on some like, Chief, you were right, but I need to go talk to him again. And she just kept asking and asking and asking. And in the back of my mind, I'm remembering the conversation that I had with the commissioner when I recommended her as a detective. And he said that she gets way too involved in the cases. Well, guess what, Tina? If your goddamn, ex-boyfriend is the leader of some crew, I am not going to let you go do story time somewhere off duty. So I suspended her ass because she just wouldn't get it.
All right. Makes sense to me.
PDMs at some point were sort of started to feel like Fleckabanks. A lot of confusion over it. How many units? In fact, there was an incident with. So I've instructed that the corporals attempt to lead those scenes or very much look over it and take them over until we have established some sort of basic like agreement as to how those things should work. As I'll give you an idea of what the spread is. We have like cadets running some of those and some officers that quite frankly just I don't know. We'll sometimes send like 2 units on the PDM car and then like 1 or 2 units on each of the other fleeing cars, and I'm just like, brother,
We've never done that.
Well, we were doing it when it came back. I mean, you say never, but here's the thing though, Cider, right? There's how you probably do it. I'm probably doing it very similar to how you're doing it, but we ain't around. Who the fuck knows what's being taught out of like sheer ignorance, right?
Oh, I hear you. I just had a call where we responded to people getting the shit shot out of them. 2 people stayed on scene to collect evidence while I was alone chasing 3 armed felons running away from the scene.
I'm sorry?
Did you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I did, but you kind of like cut out. You said you responded to some shots fired?
Yeah, it was a shooting. Individuals shot down people. I then chased that car. Instead of one attaching and one staying back for the scene, they both stayed back for the scene, and I was by myself chasing 3 people with guns.
Yeah, this sort of thing, yeah, well, yeah, I'm not surprised. The way that I chop it up is we mass hired the fuck out of everybody and then sort of didn't monitor them, or they may have been trained by those that do not understand what is desirable, right? And so now we have some hodgepodginess. I mean, look, the proof is in the fucking pudding. We fucking brought up like 100+ people, and look how many people have been on duty, right?
There it is.
So what I told the commissioner was, shift 1 recruiting is gonna be taken over by me. I want your assistance with that. I don't know what the fuck they were doing before, but it's gonna be video applications now. I used to do something in DPD. Fuck bringing somebody in and then hoping that they work out and that they're not showing up for a 1-day ticket to be a pretend officer, right? Instead, if they actually want to join, they're going to put in the effort. They're going to tell us how many hours a week they're going to do and what times they're going to be around. Based on that, we'll make our selection, and it's already working really fucking well. So we don't need 20 hires. We need 4 that are actually around, because those 4 are more valuable than, 20 that don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're showing up for like 3 hours a fucking week, or not at all. So,
I agree.
All right. So, okay.
Well, sounds like you've had your hands full.
Yeah, there's been a lot of whipping. I've realized some people have been treated like children, for lack of a better word, and doing whatever the fuck they want, and that time is over and done with, right? At least as far as I'm concerned. But there is another end of the spectrum there, Cider, is I am I can whip, you can whip, etc. We can't have corporals or less be whipping people. Some of them really don't know how to do it, and it's fucking cringe. I had to lay the law down after I saw some incidents of it. I think what it is some folks may have gotten the impression that they need to beat down on those under them, and it's not the good kind of whipping.
No. I had a cadet come up to me, Callie, and tell me that one of his FTO, just standard officers, told him as they were doing a ride along, he needs to find his personality.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Yeah, look, I dealt with some pussy shit over a officer reaming into a cadet beyond what was necessary. These officers are not fucking NCOs. And when I put it down, he got on some pussy shit. So it's like kind of...
Ooh.
Look, I'll tell you separately. It kind of turned into something, but I quite frankly responded with, if you're gonna fucking dog on someone and you can't get dog back, I think you need a fucking reality check. It was one of those kind of situations. But yeah, I think
that's the biggest problem, is people they give it, but then they can't take it, and then they play the card of, oh, what did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, or like, so if you're gonna have a fucking argument with somebody, have it back, but don't get your fucking, don't start getting butthurt over it. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's cheating. You know what I mean? I start yelling at you, you yell at me, and I start crying. Like, the fuck is that shit? I'm about to fucking beat your ass type shit at that point.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, things have been, Commissioner and I have been pretty much speaking nearly on a daily basis and lining in that, figuring out where that middle ground is. Corporals have already been instructed that you know, they need to focus more on less talking down and more pulling aside in training. Because the truth of the matter is that you can yell at somebody for doing the wrong thing, but if you're not following that up with how is it supposed to be done, well, then you're kind of being useless, quite frankly. And that goes all the way to the top. I did spike training for 4 officers after a fucked situation, as well as parallel training after that incident went bad. And I think we need to start doing a lot more of that, because it's just a matter of some people genuinely do not know how. And that goes all the way to some of our corporals, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah. Anyways, so now that you got the big pieces, I'm sure there's other shit that happened, but you know, most of it is probably generally irrelevant. But
well, I'm gonna be honest. As shit as some of that sounded, not nearly as bad as what I expected. How's the shootouts been? A lot of shootouts with officers, or no?
We had a PDM where we're the best PDM I have ever been a part of. The new hires that we brought in, late night shift 2, it was like SEAL Team 6. Like these, because I'll put it this way: a lot of people fucking BCB back 10-8 bullshit, which I infuriates the fuck out of me. That these new hires, shift 2, we lost the car twice, and these guys kept looking for it, found it. We were on their ass. They couldn't shake it, so they got us into a shootout. We fucking clapped the fuck out of them.
Good.